Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is going to be a little bit more of a rant. I'm going to be talking about 8 reasons why I am not liking Spark right now. To be fair, I've only been doing Spark for about 2 months, but these are my qualms with it. So if you're just getting into it, then here are my warnings to you. So I'm going to start with some of the more minor issues in my opinion, and then kind of work our way towards the more severe ones. But yeah, so first issue I have is just how many app issues there are. Like here you can see it just like gets into a perma loop, infinite loading for whatever reason. And another big one actually recently is that chat support has been down. So you have to call, and that's been a big issue just with the wait times on that. They'll say like 1 or 2 minutes, but you're ending up waiting 10 minutes for something that you need to figure out like right away. So again, minor, but that's the first one. And you would think that a multi-billion dollar company, the 13th largest company in the world, would kind of be able to figure that out. But yeah, so app issues. And then number two, this is a pet peeve for me, but the amount of notifications that you get from orders is, oh my gosh, it is just ridiculous. Especially as a multi-apper, it just drowns out Uber and DoorDash. So like you're missing those opportunities, and then they just kind of cut you off. So that's actually a pretty big issue if you're not on top of it. Other than the annoyance of the bling 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 notification all the time. I mean, sometimes I'll get lucky and Apple will like batch them together and be like, you have 7 new Spark notifications, but literally it's like there's 30 orders waiting for me, and it's just nonstop. So again, a minor thing there, but if you are multi-apping, like you got to be aware of that. So that's number 2. And number 3 is that the miles does not include the distance to the store. So that's kind of annoying. First of all, when you have a million notifications, you're trying to figure out which one you want to take, but you can't just do it at a glance because one Walmart might be 8 miles away and one Walmart might be 5 miles away, and you're trying to factor that in on, is it worth it for me to take? But they don't include that. So it'll say 2.3 miles. That's pretty great. But if that's the Walmart across town, then it's really going to be like 10 miles. And if that's, for $15, then suddenly it's not worth it. So I think that's a minor thing that they could add. I mean, all the other food apps have that included. So I think they should get on that. Another minor one, that's 3. And then one that I am is minor, but I still hate, and it's the same qualm I have with Uber Eats, is that they can adjust their tip within 24 hours, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. Like if they have an issue, they should report it right away. I think the fix to that should be a 2-hour time frame, and then that way they can post those earnings by the end of the day instead of having to wait a whole 48 hours to figure out if you were really tip baited. And on top of that, it's like really hard to find. They have the weekly estimated tips or unconfirmed tips now, but you still don't know exactly which one didn't do that unless you're like going through and matching the order numbers. So it's just really annoying, and it's just not immediate feedback, which is annoying again when you're trying to figure out what you did. I've been tip baited probably 4 times in the past week. It's ridiculous, and it's like I don't know what I did wrong. I'm always careful to put the bread and the chips far away from the heavier like soda cans and stuff. So I don't know, another small thing. All right, so number 5, it was a little bit more of an issue, though it's kind of hard to complain about this without sounding like I'm just complaining. But so their pay adjustments. If you've waited more than a half an hour after the pickup time, they will automatically give you extra earnings than what was promised, which is great. But the amount that they give is frankly insulting. For example, a couple days ago, I waited an hour and 22 minutes past the pickup time, And mind you, the whole time the order said it was ready, which is another issue we'll get to in a little bit. But they only gave me $6.75 adjustment for that extra hour and 22 minutes. That was their fault. They had app issues or network issues or whatever, and they lost the order. And so I was just sitting there for almost an hour and a half, and they thought, let's give him less than minimum wage. That'll appease him. No. And on another order, I waited 45 minutes, and they only adjusted my pay $3.47. So it's like they want us to deal with their issues, and for compensation, they're going to pay us what, like $5 an hour? It's ridiculous. So I am thankful for that it's automatic. That's great, but the amount really needs to be better, because otherwise I'm just going to drop the order next time. I've learned my lesson. I've put up with this too many times. So that's number 5. And number 6, and to be fair, this might just be my market, but every single store is just always understaffed. I will also recognize that it is the busy season right now, Thanksgiving, Christmas coming up, but they should have that figured out. Like, they should have planned for that. But that also doesn't change the fact that it's been this way for months before this. So even when everything goes correct, it's still a long wait, just because there's like 2 people doing all the orders. So that needs to be fixed. And that's number 6, which moves on to number 7, and that's network issues. They are always having issues like, I pull in, I check in, I'm not in the system. They don't see me till a half hour later. And then they're like, oh, we'll find your order. And then they don't come out for another 45 minutes. And then they're constantly losing orders. Another order I was on a couple days ago was a double order. And they did not bring out the second order. They were like, oh yeah, we see you have 2. I confirmed with them that I had 2. They came out. Then they came out and only brought 1. And then they're like, oh, we lost it. So then they went back in, took another 25 minutes to figure it out, and then finally came out. And it was just like, what is going on? Like, come on, Walmart, you got to figure that out. So yes, network issues, huge. Now, all of this would be okay to deal with if it wasn't so common. But honestly, at this point, it's like a 50-50 chance on whether I'm going to have a good order or a bad order. And honestly, more increasingly, because of the holiday, it's like I'm basically guaranteed problems. And with the low extra pay for waiting long being so low, it's just not worth it anymore, in my opinion. So I got one more, which is rescinding incentives. So I'm sure everybody's heard of this, but last week, everybody had that exciting incentive, and it was like $5 or $15, and they like stacked on top of each other. So an extra $20 per delivery for me, it was between 2 and 6. And I was like all about it. I was going to do stuff all week for it to make up for this week, because I wasn't planning on working as much. But instead, the app glitches, the incentive like breaks or something. I was on support for over an hour talking about this, and they just made excuse after excuse after excuse. And I didn't realize that the order wasn't going to give me the extra $20. So I actually kind of took a not so great offer. It was $15.50 that turned into about 20 something with the extra pay. But it took me 2.5 hours for what ended up being only the $20, because after multiple days of working with the support, they decided that, nope, you don't qualify, because they decided to end that incentive without telling anybody, and then switching it out for an incentive. In my area, it was for Sam's Club. It was the same incentive, but only for one store instead of all of them. And it was just like, what the heck? That's absolutely unacceptable. And personally, I still think they need to make that right, but it's gone up to it's gone through management and it's gone through the tech team or whatever. I don't know. They just gave me the runaround. Again, I could deal with all of these things. I understand that it's busy. I can brace myself for that. But when it's literally more often than not that these issues are coming up, again, just today, I had 2 orders back to back that were garbage. Oh my gosh, I got to talk about this one. So, an express order, right? I was supposed to pick it up. I was right there at arrival time, 3:15. And I thought, oh, this is an express order. It'll go quick. Pull in. I had to wait a little bit for a spot because it was busy. But by the time I pull in, the order says it's ready on the app. So I'm like, all right, great. This is going to be an in and out. We're good to go. No, it takes over an hour. 3 people have come up to my car asking me which order I had, and they still can't find it until one of the shift leaders come by and says, "You've been sitting here for a while. I'm gonna go find this personally for you." And she comes back out saying, "I yelled at some people, I'm sorry for the wait," and we got it. Great. Upset about the long wait, especially on an express order. But I get to the delivery place, the customer, and I'm literally pulling up into their driveway, and then the app says, "Order canceled." So literally, oh my gosh, they canceled the order as I was pulling in. And so I couldn't mark arrived or anything. And so I had to return it. I go to return it, and I wait another 45 minutes just waiting for somebody to come out and grab my stuff. And I realized afterwards that there is no verification for that. It's just slide to confirm drop off, just like you would do dropping it off at the customer. And honestly, so they paid me $2 or $2.50 for the return trip, which took an extra basically hour to do for $2.50. And I'm like, bro, I could have freaking just kept the order. They didn't have me take a picture or have proof or anything. They didn't scan it. It was just an honor thing. I took a picture of it as proof. Here it is. I did return it. But afterwards, I was like, dang, I should have kept it like a DoorDash order. Just kept the food, eat it. But, morals or whatever. So, yeah, that was my fiasco today. And that ended up being almost 2.5 hours. No, it was 2 hours, 15 minutes. And guess how much they paid me? They didn't even give me the upfront amount, which was $22 for an express order for about 3.5 miles or so. They paid me $14.50 for the order. And they did say there'll be some adjusted waiting pay, but I haven't seen that, and usually that's right away. So I'm skeptical. I'm going to call support again, but why do I have to call support and jump through so many hoops to get the money that I'm owed? It's I don't know. It's ridiculous. So my impression, I guess, closing thoughts here for Spark is that it really could be really good. And that's what I remember coming into it. When it first came out, everyone was like, oh, Spark is where the money's at. The wait list was 6 months to a year just to get in because everybody loved it. But as soon as I got in, I'm hitting all these issues. And it's why is the 13th largest company in the world having this kind of problem, or all these problems? It's I just think it should be more polished in some of the not so big issue areas. But then when it comes to things like this, where they're promising you money, it's literally like false advertising. And I understand they reserve the right to change it at any time, but when they don't tell you that it's changing until it's too late, and then don't do the right thing and give you some back pay, I don't know, it's hard. And it's especially hard because it has actually surpassed my DoorDash income. DoorDash has been the majority for the longest time, most orders, whatever. But for the past 2 weeks, it's been Spark. And that's been so hard with just how all of these orders are going. So would I recommend Spark? No. If you're multi-apping, you can rely on enough other things to do. I still have it on though. So, I mean, I take everything with a grain of salt. If it is a great order, I just know I'm probably going to have to take 2 hours to do it. And it's great when, it's 3 o'clock. There's no food orders going anywhere. And it's like, I'm going to sit around anyways. So I might as well sit around waiting for a Spark order. But when it comes to peak time, when it comes to the holidays, just please know what you're getting into. And yeah, so that's my rant on Spark. Let me know in the comments if you guys have similar stories or what your thoughts are on it. And again, this really could just be my market, but literally all of my stores are just not worth going to anymore. I'm going to be running DoorDash, Grubhub, and Uber Eats for the next couple weeks at least. So yeah, that's about it. If you enjoyed, then hit the like button and subscribe for more. I'm going to be coming out with another episode of my DoorDash in Numbers series in just a little bit, where we're going over numbers on knowing your worth. So be ready for that. Yeah, and again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.